And we have a few options here. So one of the things you can do is if you have your call manager, so let's say this is mine, we can actually map to the drive to an ISO. Do you have access to vSphere?
This is where I'm getting stuck, John, is I can't, the view you have right now is something that I cannot get into.
Okay.
And I think it's for two reasons. One, I just, it seems like the connection is not happening. Even if it did, I don't know that I have the credentials or that we have them anywhere to log into it.
Okay. So for the virtual machines, you're going to need to be able to, you can manage it from here. This might be administered by your VM admins.
Okay.
You can reach out to them. There are password reset feature. Actually, no. When you get to the newer versions of vSphere, you got to rebuild it. So.
Okay.
Anyways, in here, you can map to an ISO, a data store.
Okay.
You hit OK. You can disconnect from it and stuff like that. So for some reason it's not letting me. Yep, there it is, browse. So on your server, you'll have storage locations where you can put stuff in. I'll just show this to you real quick.
Okay.
This is the attached storage that I have. You could build an ISO for your cop file just using burning software if somebody can help you with that.
Okay.
I don't know if they can. And then you would basically map to it in here. Once again, this might be your server team that has access to this.
Okay.
But if they don't, and then you can point to it, and it pretends, basically this method allows it to pretend it's on a CD or DVD drive. Then you can map to, then you can go to it from, we'll get there eventually. We can do a file and install upgrade from a local source.
Okay, and this is where it's going to have the option for CD or yeah, that right there.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And if you have mounted the ISO, so if you take the cop file and you make a disk, a virtual image like an ISO, then you can do it. If you can't do that, you should have I think you mentioned you had a Linux server. Is that correct?
Well, I have a Linux box. I have a Linux machine that we use for configs and stuff like that sometimes.
Okay, so that'll be a remote file store. Using WinFCP is a very easy tool.
Okay.
So we can get into the. You can put stuff in here if you wanted to.
Okay. And I've used WinSCP before.
Yeah.
A few times.
So that's pretty easy. Basically, we can just cut and paste ISOs into here, and then we can navigate to it using the remote file system we put in the directory. So in this case, we can grab the directory from WinSCP. If I still have it open, it'll be up here in the top, user, is where we're putting it, that kind of thing, or we can put it somewhere else. So wherever you have access to, that's where you can store it.
Okay. But the WinSCP, we're using that to get it to the ESX, to the VMware, or
you can bypass ESXi vSphere, and you can use a remote file system using if you have a Linux server.
Okay.
So you're going to need to put it. You're going to have an intermediary server for it to point to. WinSCP will help you get it into a directory, and then you can point to it here. If you have a Linux box, Tftp is built into it.
Okay, makes sense.
So I can point to my server. but you'll need to know the directory. We'll just say that. We'll do next. In this case, since I don't have anything in there, I can grab something real quick.
Okay.
If you wanted me to. Basically, it's going to say I searched the directory and didn't find anything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, whatever you think is worth knowing, I'm willing to learn.
Yeah, so if you have a Linux box that you have built out in your environment, you can put it in there, store it in there, and then using those credentials that you use to store it with WinSCP, then you can access it with the call manager.
Okay, I see. Bypassing the whole VM environment. Okay.
Is that easier?
I think that might be, given what I learned the other day when I tried to get into the virtual environment. So
the loading it into the data store on the vSphere, see, you can see.
Oh,
you can see all the directories, and nothing doesn't match. So the name pattern does not match filter is basically a check to make sure it's a safe file.
Okay.
If I went out, and let's see here, let's look at let's see here, I've got it somewhere. We'll just grab something real quick. I'll load up the new drivers. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Just wish you were in our call manager.
Yeah. It's 4565. I think I have it like an 88. 45 or 41?
Well, the one we were in trouble with was the 8851.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so this is what I gave you.
Yep.
So we'll go ahead and download this. See, even I have to click that. Isn't that funny?
No escaping it.
No escaping it. Alrighty, so let's see here. Let's make a new folder. No, that's not what I want to do. I could fix that, but I don't care. So here we go in upgrades, and I'll grab my file from my computer. Let's see here, where's that? Downloads, let's refresh that. Here we go. Copy my file over.
Okay.
So this instance that I'm showing you, we're using an intermediate server to do the work. Sorry about the slowness. We're going over multiple VPNs and into a lab.
I got nothing more important to do, so it's good to see this done.
Yeah. You'll do it like that, and you would repeat this process on every server in your cluster that runs TFTP.
Okay.
So you could do this on any of them. It doesn't really matter. Excuse me. Philly cheesesteak for lunch was coming back. So how's Creech?
Creech is Creech. Not much up there ever changes day to day.
Take you back. Okay, so we've got our file in there. Call managers all pointed. So let's do this next again. So it's going to be looking at this path, home, administrator, and upgrades. Hopefully I didn't fat finger anything. And there it goes.
There
it
it
sees
is.
my file.
Yep.
So we can take this file. Is this newer than what I have? Yeah, whatever. Doesn't hurt to install.
Hey, John, I see you using Chrome with the call managers. Is that the preferred browser for this?
Chrome will work very well. If you do run into problems, I would recommend, as you can see, I also have Firefox hanging out here.
Yeah.
Internet Explorer is not going to be recommended these days.
Okay. I typically use Firefox, but I just wondered if...
Firefox is very good. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you download the file, you can cross-check the hash file here.
Okay.
If we go back to this one, yeah. Let's jump back real quick. So here, if we hover over it, we can grab the README, and the hash should be in here. Yep, there it is. So compare that. Usually you can just go off the last few characters.
Okay.
The hash would be way off by that point. So we got 90B0A. B0A. There we go. So we'll go next. It'll start doing its install. Here I can go ahead and start doing this on the other servers now. You can do all of them at the same time. Can't remember if I have. No, that's my Unity box, so I don't need that one. Okay. Running a small cluster here.
Tracking.
Just the bare minimum, right? Okay. Almost done with that. Your subs are always going to be a little bit slower. But
Than the publisher, is that what you mean?
the subs, the subscribers are always going to be a little bit slower.
Okay.
Okay, and it looks like we're done. So it's done its cleanup, everything. If you want to look through this, you're more than welcome to. You can also do this process from the command line. If you have to do a engineering update, you should do that from the command line. It won't be supported over the GUI. And if you have problems installing stuff over the GUI, command line's always the way to go to.
Okay.
So see here, and it'll be the same process. You'll do a util system upgrade deca. Oh, sounds like Piper's not happy.
So the same thing here. It's getting the file from that WinSCP.
Yeah. And when you do this install, it's only doing the install processes on that server. And once we get done with this, we're going to need to go back and restart services.
Is that restarting that TFTP service itself?
It is, yeah.
Okay, because I found that on there. I at least saw that. Like, all right, if I ever get the file on here and installed, I can at least restart the service.
Yeah. Okay. We'll let that percolate. So here you go to serviceability. And you know what? I'll just go into administration real quick. Let's see here. 8811 and an 8841 is what I have. And they're running 1271. What am I upgrading? Okay, yeah, this is slightly newer. Okay, so that's done. Here we can go to TFTP file management. We can search for the file.
Okay.
And you see the two loads.
Yep.
You got the newer one here that we just loaded. And this other one I had included with a device pack installation.
Okay.
Trying to replicate the problem. And you can see here I've got some older loads that I was using for doing problems. But this is the one we just added, the 415. Notice the phones have 393. We'll go in here. When I was talking about editing the loads to get them to come up, were you typing it correctly? Was it written out like this?
Yeah,
all lowercase?
I was. Yes, well, I think so. I was copying it straight from the web page of the phone itself.
Okay. So this one here?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, notice in your emails that S was uppercase. That would usually cause a problem.
I think that was the autocorrect doing that because
it does do that, yeah. It wasn't guaranteed to work, but yeah, it usually does. Okay, so now that we've got those files uploaded, now we need to restart TFTP. So we'll go to serviceability. We can notice that just checking real quick to see. So you'll see the inactive load was 11.5. So let's go to feature services. We'll start with the pub. Cisco TFTP. Yep, see it's not activated on this one.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not running it on that server.
Well, I checked all of ours out the other day, and they're all running that one.
Okay, so I'll restart that. Yep. So notice we still have 393. Been restarted. '88 series, all the dual bank ones will be down here at the bottom.
Okay.
So we can see the load information, and inactive load is 1271.393. When we do the upgrade with the COP file, it'll automatically change this information out for you.
Okay.
So this guy is all ready for the upgrade. We did the refresh. So we would go to the phone. We'll see what it's doing. Not doing anything, but it should be reaching out at this point, trying to download.
Okay.
So if it is that, should be trying to grab that information now.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, I killed my phone. That seems reachable.
So does it have to reboot or something like that after it? Oh, but the dual ones don't, right?
They will restart once they grab it.
Okay.
So they're going to make sure they have the full package, check everything, then restart. All right,
there it
so we
goes.
got it.
Yep.
See, and now it says it's decided to upgrade. Needed a kick in the pants. So that's it. It's literally a 3-step process. If you're using an external storage, you download, upload, and then index it.
Okay.
I mean, you do have to restart Tftp, maybe 4 steps, but yeah. With moving the files around, so that's probably the easiest and best way to do this.
When you restarted TFTP, do I need to go out to each phone manually and restart it like the way you did, or will this happen eventually?
It should do it eventually, yeah.
Okay.
If you'd like to speed it up, you can search for the device type. So if you go to phone, and let's say it begins with 88. Or contains.
Yep.
You can find all your 88 phones and reset them. Just kind of spur it along. As you can see, mine's almost done now. So it's gone back to unregistered. Yep, not reachable. So it's switching over versions right now.
Okay.
Let's take a look at the 8811. So there you go. It has not decided to upgrade yet. Here we go.
Okay, yep, there it is. I see it.
But yeah, when that phone decides to randomly pull the TFTP server, it should get a change notification. But once again, lab doesn't work. Not most of the stuff. I've got things broken on purpose, so your performance will be a little bit different than what I've got.
Okay, fair enough. But at least I see the process. I see what it's supposed to look like, so that helps tremendously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would recommend, if you have a Linux box that's on your environment, get the file on there. WinSCP, easy way to do it. Make a little folder and a path for it.
Yep.
And then you can point the call manager to that for the upgrade.
Okay.
And it won't be too painful since you only have 30 phones.
Yeah, we got somewhere around 30 88 series phones.
Good.
Awesome. Thank you, John. I appreciate you walking that through for me.
Yeah, no worries. That's what we're here for, to help. Is there anything else I can help with on this one? I mean, we'll obviously keep the case until you're done, but
Until I go back and give this a shot, there's nothing that I know of right now. I won't be back physically on site until next Tuesday.